Hey, and welcome to 20 Minutes Self-Development with me, your host, Tam Dillon. This podcast is all about focused, effective self-development, specifically for healing practitioners, space holders, and intuitives who want to do the work behind the work. In each episode, I'll introduce you to a key concept, reflection, or tool that's designed to strengthen your inner capacity and support the integrity of your practice. In just 20 minutes, we'll go beyond surface level growth and into the real work that makes you a stronger, steadier, and more embodied practitioner. Let's get into today's episode. Well, hey, and welcome back to this week's episode of 20 Minutes Self-Development, the self-development podcast that now leans into the practitioner-specific space. So you should have heard by now, because I've mentioned it a couple of times, that this month I'm going to be focusing on why self-development is essential for healing practitioners. And today I'm going to be diving into something that's often overlooked, but hugely important. And what that is what it really means to be ready to hold space for someone else. Because way too often I see people completing a modality training. They'll go and do their Reiki level 1 or weekend tarot course, or online sound healing course, or maybe a breathwork training, and then deciding, cool, I'm ready now, or they'll have a powerful personal transformation and think, I want to help others feel this too. I want to help others also have these deeper round transformations. And the truth is, being a practitioner takes so much more than that. It takes more than knowing how to use your tool or being proficient in your modality. It takes more than your own healing. It takes self-development, yes, but also skill development. And it takes a level of self-honesty most people don't get taught. Most practitioner journeys begin with either a massive awakening or an intense healing experience, or drawn to a specific tool or a specific modality. You get introduced to Reiki or energy work. You dive into the tarot or some other type of intuitive healing. You go through the levels, you complete the course, and suddenly you're equipped with something tangible. And that's valid. It's a foundation. Okay, it's a starting place. But here's where the problem also starts. When we mistake that technique for readiness, when we think that knowing how to apply a method means we're ready to hold space for someone else's entire lived experience. So going to go and do a weekend tarot training or your Reiki level 1, has that equipped you for holding space for someone who's going to come with their entire lived experience? We're not just working with energy or intuition, we are working with people. And people are messy. You're messy. I'm messy. The people we know are messy. People are messy. They carry trauma. They come undone in front of us. They project. They collapse. They form attachments. They get triggered. And if we don't know how to meet them in that, not just spiritually or with your modality of choice, but ethically and psychologically, we can do some real harm. It's not enough to know how to clear and align the chakras or read a card spread. You also need to know how to hold a container when someone breaks down in tears, how to recognize when a client is trauma bonding with you, how to maintain your center when a client is pushing every boundary you didn't even know that you had. I want to share something personal with you here. Back when I was a baby tarot reader, I'd already done a lot of spiritual work. I mean, I've been doing this all since I was 15. Coming into being a baby tarot reader, I was in my early 20s. I had a strong level of self-awareness. I was reading from a young age. I had a natural sensitivity to energies and emotions. I could read people. I can step onto their timelines and look into the past, look into the future. But I also came from a somewhat dysfunctional family system. My older brother was a drug addict. My sister has some psychological issues. And I grew up with codependency as a survival pattern. And even though I was drawn to healing, I didn't yet know how to hold space safely. So when I started reading professionally, I brought all of that with me. And while my clients would often leave saying, things like, that was amazing, I feel so much better, I feel seen, and I look back and realize how much I was not equipped for most of the things that people brought to me. I didn't know how to hold space when someone fell apart in front of me. I didn't understand that offering comfort isn't the same as offering containment. I'd go into sympathetic responses. It's okay, just cry it out, have some tissues, you're gonna be fine, you're doing great. But I wasn't holding clear structure. I wasn't offering them something strong to lean on. I was being nice. Okay, I was being nice. I was not being an anchor, a strong supportive structure for them. I also didn't understand the psychology behind what happens when someone receives healing or experiences a big breakthrough. I didn't know that it's completely normal for people to form a kind of attachment to their practitioner, especially when they haven't been seen or held in a long time. I'd have clients want to be friends with me. I didn't know how to navigate that. I didn't know how to uphold boundaries, not because I was irresponsible, but because I was untrained. And I would have clients sit in front of me and be like, Tam, that was amazing. Like you really make me feel so good about myself. And please, can we be friends? And people pleasing Tam back in the day was like, sure, let's be friends. You know how many, like, the sarcasm, the insert here, friends I had? No wonder I was so burnt out back in my days of being a baby reader, because I had no boundaries. Like, I had all these client friends, whatever we want to call them, like leaning on me now in my personal capacity. So professional boundaries, like, yes, they're there for a reason. It wasn't until years later that I began doing far deeper work than I'd already been doing on myself. I mean, if you've ever read my memoir, you'll note that, like, I unpack myself regularly. I have no issue in doing my work and checking myself before I wreck myself for someone else, because I know the importance of doing that. But I also noticed what refinements and skills I was actually lacking. Training in core, simple counseling skills, so trauma-informed space holding, understanding the emotional dynamics of practitioner-client relationships. And I saw just how much I could have done damage-wise, simply because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that I needed those skills. I didn't know I needed those boundaries. I look back now and I'm like, oh God, yeah, I definitely needed them. But back then, I was just like, man, I want to make the world a better place, and tarot is how I want to do it. I was coming from good intentions, and you may be coming from good intentions, but if you're coming from a place of good intentions and no skills, like core competency skills to hold space in a healthy, safe way, all the good intentions of the world, you can still do some serious damage. This is why it's not enough to just do your healing and then, offer that healing to others. Healing doesn't make you a practitioner. Doing a weekend course or a certification doesn't make you a practitioner. Your own transformation is powerful, but if you don't also refine how you support others through their transformations, you're not going to be able to offer a full safe space. You're offering your best guess. And that can be dangerous and harmful. And we need to normalize additional training, not in more modalities. You don't need to add sound healing to your Reiki practice to refine your skills. Like, you have enough modalities already. It's practitioner skills. Things like confidentiality and when to keep it, when to break it, understanding the legalities around things like confidentiality, managing projections, transference, countertransference. Do you know what those words mean? Have you even heard those words before? And if not, go and do some core competency skills, okay? Because these are things that you should know what those words mean. Do you know how to hold non-judgmental space without collapsing your own boundaries? Dealing with trauma disclosures in a responsible way, not just, letting this person offload on you and you're like, oh, you're going to be okay, here's some tissues. Like genuinely like holding space for that person and recognizing when you're no longer in your scope and referring out to people that are more qualified than you. You're referring out appropriately. And more than anything, we need to normalize doing the work that those courses ask of us. So it's all very well going to do, a course in, counseling skills, and you're like, cool, I think I can hold space better for these people. Are you actually taking the skills that you're learning and using them for yourself? Are you learning to hold space for yourself? Have you ever held space for yourself? And if so, what does it feel like? Are you just nice to yourself while you're holding space for yourself? Or you're like, here's the tissues, Tam, you're going to be okay? Or are you actually holding space for yourself? Do you know how to do that? It's not just about passing another module or doing another course. It's about asking, how does this apply to me? So when doing those counseling skills, how do those skills actually apply to me on a personal capacity, not as a practitioner, in me doing my own actual work? Where am I weak? Where am I just performing? Where am I still rescuing or needing to be liked? Where am I still operating as a people pleaser? This is what makes you a practitioner. Not just that you know the work, but that you actually live it, you refine it, and you update it as you grow. So it's not just doing one little counseling course and being like, okay, cool, I've improved my listening skills, I feel a whole lot better to put my boundaries down. Refine those skills, come back, do more courses, read more books, refine, because you will become a better practitioner. Again, it's not about being perfect, it's about being better. Self-development isn't only about healing your childhood trauma. It's also about becoming professionally accountable. Self-development is you're developing yourself in a professional capacity. It's about evolving your skills and your presence. It's about knowing that if you're holding space for someone in their darkest moment, you can do so with steadiness, with clarity, and genuine care. Not, here's the box of tissues, you're going to be okay. Not spiritual platitudes and not a shaky voice where this person is like, oh, I'm falling apart, and the person in front of me looks like they don't know how to hold me falling apart. You've got to be a solid foundation for someone if they're falling apart. And it's about getting honest. Have you stopped learning? And have you avoided the kind of trainings that aren't glamorous or mystical but are absolutely necessary? Are you just like, oh, I'm just interested in the spiritual modalities, and let's add another spiritual modality skill set to my toolbox? You've got to do the other skill training. Like, you really need to, because of the work that you're doing, the things that people are going to come to you with. You need to be equipped to handle those things. Are you just relying on your intuition to get you through things that require actual human behavior, psychological awareness? And I'm not saying like go do your master's in psychology, but absolutely go do some short courses, read some books, learn people skills, learn listening skills, learn how to hold safe space. Go and understand things like transference and countertransference, learning about attachment in these types of relationships. This work asks so much more of us than most of us practitioners realize. And that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to rise into. I didn't know this when I started reading cards 20 odd years ago professionally. I had no idea that people would come to me with the things that they would come to me over the years. Pam was not equipped for it back in the day. Is she equipped for it today? Absolutely, because she needs to be. Is she still refining those skills? Absolutely, because she needs to be, because I hold space for other people. I've got to be a well-trained, refined space for the people that I work with, because I'm doing them a disservice, and I'm definitely going to do myself some disservice. So we're going to keep going with this self-development conversation, for the next couple of weeks. This is going to be the conversation of why is self-development important? But for today, I want you to just reflect on this. Are you relying too much on just your modality? Have you mistaken your personal healing for professional readiness? You're like, oh, well, I got myself through this, so I can take other people through that. I've been there. I've been like, oh, I've gone through the fire, so I can take other people through the fire. That's have you really? Okay. Have you, or rather, what would it look like to truly commit to being a safe, skilled, and grounded practitioner? What would that actually look like for you? Because it's not about the theory, it's not about taking another course, it's not about adding more modalities or refining your skills. It's about actually doing the work that comes from refining those skills, and also refining the skills on a consistent basis. It's about doing the work that the theory asks of you again and again and again, because people will come to you with the heavy stuff. People will come to you with some of the most horrific things. And if you're not equipped to deal with it, you will do some very unintentional real damage. So if you are a practitioner, go and do some additional courses. Go and refine those skills. Go and build those core competencies for yourself, because you will be creating a safe space, not just for your client, but for yourself. And also you will learn other skills to refine yourself on a personal and professional capacity that will make you, snowball effect, a far better practitioner for others.
Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of 20-Minute Self-Development. If today's reflections were helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode, where we'll explore another tool or principle to support you in doing your own work as a healing practitioner. If you're looking for deeper support, my practitioner mentoring sessions are designed to help you refine your presence, integrate your self-work, and build a practice that's both ethical and sustainable. You can also visit the Tam Dillon Academy to explore all current programs and resources built specifically for space holders like you. Until next time, keep showing up for your own work, and remember, real growth is built on consistency, integrity, and self-responsibility.